Hey guys, it's your favorite Dashen Sashi Kumar. Did you guys know that in September, 27 million acres of land were burned down in Australia?
What?
If this continues, not just people but animals will get affected too. This is a time where journalists go crazy for the news. So what is news or journalism? It is a job where journalist writes or reports the news that happens. Oh my god guys, I almost forgot what my video was even about. Today I'm going to critique a news article and a news segment about the Australian bushfire to show how journalists and reporters make certain stylistic choices to communicate ideas to appeal to certain audiences. Let's look at the article by Summit News. This was written in Australia by Paul Joseph Watson and it's about 200 people getting arrested for the Australian bushfire. If you guys notice, the headline for this article is nearly 200 people arrested across Australia for deliberately starting bushfires, and it's in bold and black. What does this tell us? Usually, if the headline is in bold and black, it means that the news is very serious. So the effect of this is people usually get scared and worried if this will affect them. Based on the headline, we also see numbers, which is another way to catch the reader's attention. Even more when we see big numbers, don't we usually be more interested? Exactly. As I was reading, they were giving facts about 18 deaths and many homes were destroyed. According to them, 183 people were arrested in New South Wales. So after we see that, don't we usually feel shocked hearing that so many people are arrested? Did you guys notice the kangaroo photo? Australia's national animal is the kangaroo, and you guys must have heard so many animals have been suffering through the Australian bushfire. By presenting the nation's national animal, the kangaroo, people will start having sympathy for kangaroos. So the message of the photo was for people to help save endangered animals from the Australian bushfire. Furthermore, Dr. Paul Reid, co-director of the National Centre for Research in Bushfire and Arson, mentioned about 85% are related to human activity, 13% confirmed arson, and 37% suspected arson. These were the exact words from Dr. Paul Reid. Since he is a professional related to this, it's best for people to know what are the exact words he said, because it's more believable. I mention him because he is a professional related to this, so if people hear the exact words from a professional, people will believe it. To dramatically enhance the effect of sympathy from readers, journalists use figurative language as well. Look at the phrase, blood red sky. Don't you feel devastated or scared by hearing the phrase? The phrase creates fear in people because the normal color of the sky is blue. But all of a sudden, if the sky turns into a red sky, people will start having fear. And this is how it looks like. When we see or hear this, we feel frightened and scared. Could you imagine how the Australians would have felt? These words help us connect with the Australians and have empathy for them. This is because when we feel scared, we tend to imagine how would they feel.
Seeing just all the locals, I can see they're all nervous and anxious and everyone's just on edge.
Looking at the...
However, based on our findings, don't you guys ever wonder the news they present are biased or not? From all the news I've read and heard, honestly guys, this is the most biased news I've ever read in my entire life. Why, you ask? This is because the media was covering up the real reason why the bushfire even started, which is because of the arsons, while the media had to blame it all on so-called climate change. Come on guys, this is just too unfair. The article was possibly written to persuade Australian people about nearly 200 people were arrested for starting the Australian bushfire. However, according to the words and phrases used from the transcript, like devastated, cause, breaking down, The journalists are clearly reporting the news in a negative tone. Indeed, as a journalist, Paul Joseph Watson has to fulfill the common elements of journalism. But looking at the pieces of evidence above, the article is not suggested as the best article I read. Unlike the article, the video news from BBC also specifically mentioned the article written by Paul saying that it was false news. When I first encountered the video, I was pretty shocked because the facts that they gave were completely different from Summit News. So how exactly are they different? Let's look into the details. Unlike online articles, a person, usually the reporters, presents himself or herself to the public. This definitely adds up more credibility to the audience compared to the written article. Let's look at a picture of Ross Atkins, the reporter. Notice that Ross Atkins was actually wearing a super formal shirt, which actually gives us an impression that he's being super serious. Not just the clothes, but also the words he conveys carries a serious tone on delivering the news about false rumors spreading on the cause of Australian bushfire. So the difference between a news segment and an article is that a news segment can be heard and seen. So not just that, by looking at the body language, people can also understand if a person is lying or telling the truth. So when people are standing straight, we can identify if the person is confident. So also if people are blinking a lot, we know that they are lying. Whereas online news can only be read and can't understand the body language.
Now we talk about the scale of the Australian bushfires every day. Over 20 people have been killed, hundreds of millions of animals.
Did you guys notice that photo? That's how the video started. The first picture of the video was outside source. The BBC's outside source was reporting about the Australian bushfire and has also made the entire video with truthful information and facts. So to get every single information, BBC must have at least hired 50 to 100 field reporters, because to get all that information, you need to find information. So to get all that information, they must have taken such a long time to get all that information. And since their video is full of truthful information, they must have double-checked their work by asking even more people. So at the end of the video, there was no credit to people or websites. But they did add a theme music at the end and finished off the video with the photo of outside source. And for the 50 to 100 field reporters, let's give them a big round of applause. The most important thing about the video is that the government informed people about the Australian bushfire 2020 12 years ago. But nobody did anything about it because nobody believed it. So in my opinion, I feel like Ross Atkins did really explain it very clearly, and it was very understandable to me because he did give some pictures and it was very understandable. So I felt like he was targeting an age group between 20 to 50 because the words he used and the speed he talked was meant for those type of age groups. So not just those things, but his main target was the Australian people because he wanted to give an awareness about what is actually happening. I almost forgot again. Journalists and reporters make certain stylistic choices to communicate ideas to appeal to specific audiences. In this news, reporters and journalists chose figurative languages to make the news more interesting and so people will be able to communicate and understand those ideas. For an example, blood red sky. That is a form of figurative language and helps us understand the idea. In conclusion, the online news was surprisingly fake. After I saw the news segment, only I understood what was the truth and what was the lies. So the truth was that the Australian bushfire started because of climate change and arsons. But the main reason why the Australian bushfire started was mainly because of climate change. So to know the truth, it's best to have professionals related to this. And don't forget guys, it's best to practice ethics because ethics can help us understand many things and also improve our skills. Sadly guys, this is the end of the video. Hope you guys learned something and enjoyed my video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Bye bye. So much papers to read. Oh, guys, it's your favorite Dashen Sashi Kumar. Did you guys know that in September, 27 million Australia... Uh-oh.